Loch Ness Monster. Reportedly, in the Highlands of Scotland, in Loch Ness, lives a serpent-type creature known as the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie. The Loch Ness Monster is perhaps one of the best-known myths throughout the world. Loch Ness is a freshwater loch around 23 miles long. Although it is only the second largest loch in Scotland after Loch Lomond, due to its depth, it is actually the loch with the largest volume in the British Isles. If you combined all the freshwater lakes in England and Wales, it would still be less than the volume of Loch Ness. Nessie is described as being very large and long, a dark green-brown khaki colour, with a long neck that appears high above the loch. It is sometimes said to have humps that appear out of the water. Stories of the Loch Ness Monster have been circulating since around the early 1930s, and people from all over the world have visited the loch, some with the hope of spotting it, and some hoping to prove beyond all doubt that Nessie does exist. The only evidence that has been provided over the years have been photographs, which generally have been debunked, and some sonar readings, but these could have detected other large masses. There is a report of a sighting of a creature in Loch Ness as far back as the 6th century. It was told that an Irish monk, St. Columbia, was walking by the river Ness edge, and he came across a burial. When he inquired what had happened to the man, he was told that while swimming in the river, a water beast had attacked him. The monk decided to send one of his aides into the river, in an attempt to see the beast for himself. Luigni Mokumin entered the river and started to swim across it. The beast showed itself, but St. Columbia made the shape of a cross with his hands and demanded the man not to be touched. The beast retreated. The locals saw this as a miracle. The start of the great legend that is the Loch Ness Monster started when John Spector claimed he saw Nessie on the 22nd of July, 1933. George and his wife claimed that while driving along the road next to the loch, a large, bizarre creature walked across the road in front of their car. They described it as very large and long, being around 25 feet long, 4 foot high, and a long, narrow neck. It appeared to be heading towards the loch. On November 12, 1933, Hugh Gray alleged to have taken the first photograph of the Loch Ness Monster. Although slightly blurred, the photo appears to show a head out of the water. The original negative has been lost, so it cannot be examined now. It has been claimed that the photo is either his dog in the water or an otter. A motorcyclist claimed to have nearly hit a creature on the road along the loch. Arthur Grant provided a sketch of the animal. Experts claim that it was similar in shape to an otter, and claim that due to poor driving conditions and the surprise of nearly hitting something, that this had altered his perception. Perhaps the most famous photo of Nessie is a surgeon's photograph. It was supposedly taken by Robert Kenneth Wilson, who was a London gynaecologist. Given his profession, Robert didn't want his name associated with the photo, and it then became known as the surgeon's photo. He claimed to have spotted the monster while gazing at the loch, and grabbed his camera and managed to capture 4 photographs of it, although only 2 actually turned out, and even then one was blurry. However, one photo showed a head and back out of the water. This photo was believed to be the first piece of actual evidence captured on Nessie. However, the photo was actually a hoax, and in 1999 details came out of how they attempted to fool the world. Marmaduke Wetherell had been exposed by a newspaper of faking footprints of the Loch Ness Monster. In an attempt to get even with the paper he felt had ridiculed him, he thought up details of this elaborate hoax with the help of a couple of friends and his son. They bought a toy submarine and used putty to make Ness's head and neck. They placed it in the loch and proceeded to take the photos. The photos were passed about the local area, and eventually the same paper that exposed Marmaduke bought the photos and published them as being the first photo of the Loch Ness Monster. The first large-scale expedition to identify Nessie took place in 1934. 20 men stationed themselves around the loch with binoculars, and for 9 hours each day for 5 weeks watched the loch, hoping to see the monster. Multiple photographs were captured, although none were considered compelling enough to be used as evidence. In 1954, sonar readings were reportedly caught of a large object keeping up with the boat before contact was lost. The object was never identified. In 1957, a photograph was released that had been taken 2 years prior. Taken from Urquhart Castle overlooking the Loch, the photo appears to have captured an object with 2 humps. When the photograph was compared to the original negative, there were discrepancies, and it is widely believed to be another hoax. In 1960, an engineer filmed what was described as a large hump in the Loch. On inspection, it was claimed that when the images were zoomed in, the object looked like a boat, and it was even said you could actually see a person on the boat. However, in 1993, Discovery Communications commissioned a documentary featuring the footage. During production, an operator enhancing the film explained that he discovered what appeared to be the body of a large creature underwater. He described how, before viewing his enhanced footage, he point-blank did not believe that such a creature existed, but now, having enhanced the original footage, he was having doubts. During 1967 to 1968, Dr. Gordon Tucker of the University of Birmingham offered his assistance and his sonar prototype to study Loch Ness. He would work together with members of the Loch Ness Phenomena Investigation Bureau. He secured his sonar transducer under a pier, and with its large range, it was aimed at the shore across the Loch. It was left for 2 weeks. Although there were many captures, most were put down to schools of fish. In 2007, a video was captured of a large black creature moving quickly across the water. A local marine biologist thought the footage was quite convincing, although he later stated that the footage could have been an otter or seal. More sonar imaging was captured in 2011, and it apparently captured the image of a 5-foot wide creature. It appeared to be at the depth of 75 feet. This depth would expel any thoughts of the image being a fish, seal, or an otter. Scientists later said that the image was the result of a large collection of algae or plankton. George Edwards captured a photo in 2011. He was a researcher who spent up to 60 hours a week on the Loch and had spent 26 years looking for Nessie. He believed that the Loch Ness Monster was some sort of large mammal, like a manatee, and said that the claims of 3 or 4 humps were most likely 3 creatures swimming close together. However, his photograph was claimed to be a hoax, and that it was probably a photo of a fiberglass hump that had been used in a documentary that George featured in. George later admitted that his photo was a hoax, although he did claim a photo he had taken in 1983 was legitimate. The satellite image used in Google Maps appears to show a large creature around 30 metres long just under the water. A cluster of seals or otters, a large truck of wood, and a boat's trail were given as potential reasons for the image. Robert Rines has conducted multiple sonar expeditions on the Loch over the years. During his 1972 expedition, he apparently captured on sonar the image of a flat tail and a possible 3-metre-long object. On inspection, sceptics would rule out the photos of the tail as merely a stone or even the bottom of the Loch. Later, an image was captured on his sonar that was 9 metres long. It appeared to show 2 long creatures that resembled plesiosaur-shaped creatures. During their 2001 expedition, they captured what looked like a large skeleton on the sonar. In 2008, he stated he believed Nessie has either passed away or has used underwater tunnels and left the area, as he had 0 significant readings on his sonar equipment. In 1987, an expedition consisting of 24 boats, all equipped with specialised sonar equipment, were stationed around the Loch. A number of the boats picked up on a large object. When they analysed the images, they concluded that the majority were probably inanimate objects or debris, and a couple of the images were more than likely seals or otters. There were images that did appear to show something larger than a fish or mammal. In 2003, the BBC commissioned an extensive search of Loch Ness. Nothing of any credence was uncovered, and its scientists had no other option but to state the Loch Ness Monster was only a myth. There have been many other reported sightings over the years. Many explanations have been given to identify what could be mistaken for the Loch Ness Monster. These include groups of birds diving into the Loch hunting for fish. Large eels are found in the Loch, although for some people this isn't a credible explanation, as an eel moves side to side, which is different from the movement of Nessie. When When Jeremy Wade investigated the Loch as part of his river monster programme, he concluded the monster was a Greenland shark. A large whale's catfish has been given as a possible explanation. The Loch and surrounding area is host to a number of animals that could explain the Loch Ness monster, including otters and deers. Tree trunks can be the same shape and can float on the water. From a distance, this could be interpreted as an essay. Some researchers have theorised that given the reported shapes of being long in length, a long neck and a flattened tail, that the Loch Ness monster could be an evolution of a plesiosaur. To that end, don't forget to like and subscribe and press the wee bell notification. And a huge big thank you to all my subscribers and patrons. See you next week. Bye bye.